Hello everyone, welcome to What's Crafting Wednesday. I hope everyone had a great week. Today we're going to have a little fun with the Friends Are Like Seashells bundle, but first we'll get right to the drawing from last week's cards. I had my sample and then the one we made live that was just slightly stepped up with a few in color jewels. And I have my tickets here, so let's get these in the bag. Okay, drop them all in. Give them my usual shake. And a little more mixing. And let me see who we have here. Okay, and I have Shani. Well, congratulations, Shani. Thank you, everyone, for your comments. So let's get started with today's card. Beautiful weather, so I thought we would have something summer themed. And last week's cards featured a retiring product and a new product. The retiring products were the curvy bundle, and the new product was the gorgeous Expressions in Ink, I think is the name of it, DSP. So today we're going to be using the Friends Are Like Seashells bundle. Actually almost the entire suite. The stamp set, which is carrying over from the, well, I guess it already carried over from the mini to the new annual catalog, and the embossing folder, and the dies. And with these dies, it's the one large die, but you can use it individually to cut out the seashells, and then there are the individual dies. And the opal rounds, and all of these products are in the new annual catalog, but what is not in the new annual catalog that is retiring the end of the month from the mini is the Sea and Sand Designer Series paper. And I did use two patterns from this for our card tonight. So let's get started. I said it was a fun fold card, so it is an easel card. And I thought I would show you how to make an easel card. It is very easy, but I understand that sometimes crafters are intimidated by it. They think it's difficult when it really is quite easy. So I'm going to put this off to the side here, running out of space. Okay, and my card packet. I'll get the envelope out of the way as well. I have my card packet here, and I have a basic white envelope, and we're using Sahara Sand cardstock, and this is cut at 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, and this here is the important part for making the easel card. It gets scored at, oh, I have a glare from my light again. It gets scored at 2 3/4. And the usual 5 1/2. And this 2 3/4, that's what is going to make the easel support. So with the 5 1/2, you would just fold on the score like you normally would. And then you fold on this other one. And then with that, we have a second piece of Sahara Sand that is 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, and that will adhere onto here for the easel part. But for right now, these are going to get put off to the side. And then we'll go through everything else here in the packet. I have basic white that is 4 by 5 1/4. That's for the front of the card. I have DSP that was cut at 3 by 3 and then cut down on the diagonal. That's also for the front of the card. And a piece of 4 by 3 DSP that will be for the bottom part. So that will go off to the side for now. And I have a scrap for stamping the seashell, which I'll tell you about after. And then I have a piece for the back of the easel card. I did not adhere it on here. Whoever's name is drawn for the cards next week, these will be separate because this is to write on for the card, and it's awkward to do if it's already adhered to the card. But that will go on the back of the card. And that piece is 4 by 2 1/2. So I'll put that off to the side as well. So first we're going to do some stamping. And for placement, I'm not going to attach these yet, but I'm just going to place the DSP there so I can center the sentiment. And that will be stamped in Flirty Flamingo. And the sentiment is, friends are like seashells, you collect them along the way. Just ink that up, and I apologize, I don't think my hair is getting in here. And just center it there. Okay, and for now we can take these to the side because we're not going to attach those yet. And I have Sahara Sand ink. And I have the sand dollar, and we're going to stamp off and just stamp a little background with this. So each time I'll stamp off and just going to stamp it few various places, and I turn it as I stamp it also. I wanted to stamp off because I just wanted it to be subtle in the background. I didn't want it to really stand out. Okay. And then the 2 corners will get adhered. And just using some of the liquid glue because, as you know, it gives us that little bit of wiggle room that we sometimes need. That looks like it went down perfectly. And then we'll do the other side. See that one now, I need that little bit of wiggle room there just to get this straight. Okay, and while I have the glue open, this here will get adhered to this piece of Sahara Sand, the 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. Just center it on there. And we're going to put this aside for a second. And, oh my goodness, you know what I forgot? I forgot the Sahara Sand for stamping the sand dollars. I apologize. I will be right back. Sorry about that. There's my scrap I was stamping on earlier. Now with these here, I stamped in Sahara Sand, on Sahara Sand, full strength. Now I did die cut these with there is the die in here for the sand dollars. But since I just had to get up now and disrupt everything, I don't want to get up again and die cut. So I will just quickly fussy cut these. Anyone who is an old-time stamper like me knows we started out fussy cutting. And I know there's some of you that still enjoy it. Because when I started stamping, we didn't have all those fancy dies and punches. The punches were your basic round shapes, and we had some squares and ovals, but nothing fancy. And nowadays it's just like, wow, you can cut anything out. So this isn't perfect, but crafting isn't perfect anyway, right? Okay. And I did use Wink of Stella. I just colored in just to give it a little sparkle, and I went around the outside here. I'm sure you can't see it on the camera, but it gives it that nice shimmer, just that little something extra. And who doesn't like Wink of Stella? And then I also put it on these ones that were stamped in the background here. And same thing, I just colored in these little circles. Just gave it a little bit of shimmer. And then I went around the edges here and just a dot in the middle. And just this little Wink of Stella, it adds so much to your projects. So if anyone has not used Wink of Stella, it is something that I definitely recommend getting. And it lasts practically forever. Now this one here now is starting to get dry, but it lasts months and months and months. Okay, now the next step in creating your easel card, which does fold flat for mailing, fits in an envelope, but you want to, it's attaching this piece here to the score so that you get the easel to stand. So this piece here where we had scored on the 2 3/4, we're going to put glue just on this part here. Now normally I would use tear and tape. That's what I usually do when I make an easel card. But for the speed of Facebook Live, I will do it with the glue. And you just want to make sure your bottom edges and the corners line up perfectly with the card base. Otherwise your easel will not stand properly. So just make sure it is straight. I need that. See, I did need a little bit of wiggle there, which I would not have gotten if I used the tear and tape. See, and then this here opens for your easel. So the next part is to adhere your piece of DSP on the inside. And that just creates a decorative base. You could layer it also. I decided just to use the one piece, but you could layer it. And just adhere it so it has the border all around. And I chose this pattern because I thought it looked like the water coming up on the sand. And these sand dollars I adhered with dimensionals. Wanted them to pop. We're going to be using quite a few dimensionals today because we have to pop up the bottom also so that it makes the stand for the easel. But we'll just start with this right now. For me, it's always easiest to pull the backs of the dimensionals with the scissors, with the snips. Sometimes I try with the tweezers, sometimes with my nails, but for me, the snips are the quickest. I know a lot of crafters will use the pick tool also, but this is what works best for me. So I just added 3 dimensionals to each one and just put it kind of right in the center of the stamped background. And then I face the other one the opposite direction. And the same thing, just centered there. And for the seashell, I have the scrap here, I was going to stamp it, but then I'd have to get up and die cut it and emboss it. So I just did this ahead of time, but it is stamped in Sahara Sand on the basic white. And I die cut it. You can die cut an entire card front with this, or you can also die cut the individual shells. But when you do that, you do have to snip a little bit around it. It doesn't cut the entire shell out. So if you didn't want to do that, you could fussy cut. And then after it was cut, I did run it through the embossing folder. And this also, you can create an entire card front, but I just put the die cut shell right in there and ran it through and embossed it. Just gives it that something extra with the embossing. And of course, I went a little more extra, that doesn't sound right. But anyway, I used some Wink of Stella on the seashell as well. And basically, I just kind of went over the inked parts just to give it that little bit of shimmer again. And those of you that use Wink of Stella know exactly what I'm talking about. And I just wish this showed up in the camera, but it really gives it this beautiful shimmer. Just a little bit in here. Like I said, just over the inked parts. And with the embossing, it is extra, extra pretty. I think I got everything. Turn a little bit in the light. And you could even go around the outer edge if you wanted. Just to get the shimmer around here as well. Because can we ever have too much shimmer? Huh. That's a question for Wendy. I don't think we can. Okay. And then I used dimensionals on the back of the seashell. And actually what I did was I cut a lot of the, no, I saved the sides for the banner, sorry. Just put these all around here. Just want to make sure you have enough so it doesn't sag, because that's something that I do not like when you don't have enough dimensionals on a popped up piece. And you get that little sag in the middle. Who wants a sag in the middle, right? All right. And it is quite a few to pull the backings off of. So I'll get them off as quickly as I can for you. So tell me, who makes easel cards? Who has never tried an easel card on their own, we'll say. But tonight, if you've never made one, I hope you will give it a try, since you now see how easy it actually is. So I'm going to hold the card up, and I have the shell here. I'm going to hold the card up to the edge of the DSP, and then I'm going to butt the seashell right against it, and then put it down. And next will be the sentiment. And I did bring some extra strips in case I don't get this centered the first time. Who thinks I'm going to get it centered? Let's see, how many of you have faith in me? I know when I made the sample, I didn't get my first one straight. Let's see how I do tonight. Start by making my paper straight. I don't know about you, but I very often stamp sideways or crooked, whatever you want to say. Not that my images come out crooked, but that's just the way I hold my paper and my stamp. Looks pretty good. And then I fishtailed the ends. And for those of you that don't know what fishtailing is, you just cut down the center here and then on the corners to meet the slit in the center. And that gives it a little fishtail look. It's just decorative, looks nice rather than having the straight cut edges. And then with this here, I cut a strip from the end here, because you know us crafters don't like to waste anything. And then also this way there are not so many backings to pull off. And that just got popped up underneath the seashell. And then I finished it off with some of the opal rounds. These are very, very pretty. And I know they were on back order for a while, but they are currently back in stock. So what did I do here? I put a small one. I know it doesn't have to be exactly the same. A small one. And then I did, looks like a large one. And another small one here. And then inside, what did I do? I put a couple of large. Let's stick one there. And have that one there. And then we'll put a little small one off to the side there. And all that is left is the envelope and this little piece for the backing. So I think we're going to try to do both at the same time. How about that? Who thinks I can do that without messing up? I have to think. I want to say think on my feet, but I have to think in my seat. For the envelope, I stamped 2 of the sand dollars partially off, and they were stamped at full strength. So I'll just stamp that there. And then, since I stamped these stamping off, we'll just continue and stamp that there. Okay. It's working. And we have that there. And then we'll just use this stamped off one already and stamp that corner. Just gives it a light little something there for when you write on the back of your card. Oh, closed up the ink pan. We have one more stamp to do. I added a seashell also. And just put that down there. And you know what the final step is? Whoever guessed Stella, got it right. I mean, why should the envelope not have some wink of Stella also? So again, I just colored in the insides, went around the outside here. It's very fast. And then on the seashell, I also added some wink of Stella just to give it a little highlighting. Pretty, pretty. And did I do wink of Stella on the back piece? I did. Just color in and around. It's 1, 2, 3, very quick, very easy. Okay. So this is our easel card for tonight. The, did I call it beach themed or summer themed? Fancy fold. So the one on the right here is my sample. And again, this is the backing, and it just goes right on the back there, and you can write whatever you'd like to whoever you gift the card to. So that is it, my crafty friends. I hope you enjoyed tonight's card. If you didn't know how to make an easel card, I hope you learned. I hope you'll give it a try. If you have any questions, reach out to me. You can private message me, email me, text, phone, whatever you'd like. I'm always available and happy to answer any questions that you have. Leave me your comments. As you know, I enjoy reading them. I answer back. Tell me anything you'd like. Just say hello if you want. Comment on the easel card tonight. Comment on anything. And I will be back next Wednesday, 7 p.m. as usual. Don't know yet what we'll be making, but I hope it's something that you will enjoy. And of course, I will be doing a drawing for tonight's 2 cards. So hopefully you will leave a comment because you would like to win them next week. One other thing, don't forget, I believe it's Sunday is the cutoff for signing up for my in color card class, which is on the 24th. Zoom class, 7 p.m. If you haven't signed up already and you would like to, reach out to me, and we will have a great time that night making our in color cards. Okay, everyone, thank you for joining me, and I will see you back next week. Bye.